It's going to be a fast meeting tonight. Good evening and welcome to the January 18th, 2023 council meeting at 7:30 p.m. Please join me in a moment of silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor St. John,
Here.
Mr. Capel,
Here.
Mr. Neff,
Here.
Mr. Grumney,
Here.
Mr. Martin,
Here.
Mrs. Cooper. Here. Okay, and Tim Goss is absent.
Great. We had a meeting on January 4th. Would anybody like to make a motion for approval?
Motion for approval.
Got a motion by Councilman Grumney,
Second.
second by Councilman Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Neff,
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, we're on the visitor section. We have Ms. Burleson from the Delaware Public Health District as a scheduled visitor. How are you? Good to see you.
I just have one flyer for you guys. We're having an interactive open house. Just looking for feedback on some of our strategies and how to make the county better for like health and wellness. And then also we have a new health commissioner. I don't know if you heard, but yeah, that's all I really know.
How do you pronounce the new health commissioner's last name?
You know, I started to say his name. I'm like, it's really hard. Go.
It looks French. There's some U and I's and a couple L's and a Z and a T.
Like, you know, American science, so like, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was Wilazeo. We'd love to have him.
Yeah, he should be. You guys are in the rotation, but he should be coming here one of these weeks to introduce himself and answer any questions.
Great. Any questions for Ms. Burleson? Well, thank you for the information.
Thank you.
Good deal. Tell him you had to stay here for a few hours. All right, we're on the committee reports. Mr. Neff?
Nothing to report.
All right, Mr. Martin?
No.
All right, Mrs. Cooper?
Yes, we had an events meeting last week.
20-minute events meeting.
I may have misled Mr. Martin that the events committees are quick. This one was not quick. I think we know who to blame because they were quick without him. But what we did was we are working on a best practices list for the parades in Sunbury. And so we asked staff to make a list of what other municipalities are doing, and then we asked for PD's feedback, and then we just sort of went through every last one of them and talked about them, and they're going back to PD and back to staff, and so nothing is done yet, but it was a work that needed to be done, and the next meeting shouldn't be as long. That's it for, we have a zoning meeting on next Monday, I think, if is the one coming. Okay.
The fourth.
Moved it to the 4th.
Oh, yeah, we also moved our committee meetings. They were on the second Wednesday and now they're going to be on the 4th Wednesday. Thank you. If anybody wants to come watch.
Any committee reports?
Nope, nothing here.
Committee reports? All right, we're on to the police report. We have the chief of police here this evening. Would you like to report anything to the council?
I would love to.
Thank you.
You guys should have a copy of this. Some of this is some follow-up stuff. That's the biggest thing I want to get off the table now that we can is full-time SRO spot there on the streets. You guys should have that in review. In packets. I spoke with Ryan McLean, he said that the school's 100% ready to go. I had an email from him today, so the only changes he would like to see made is, or they need to be made, is have the school board president put on the signature line. If he didn't, or he couldn't sign the contracts.
Ryan McLean can't sign.
Correct, that's what he said.
Yeah.
So he wants the board president's name in there.
How was our last one done?
I'm sorry.
How was our last one done? Did the superintendent sign or the school board president?
Superintendent's.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, thanks.
Signed the last.
So that's why I did it that way. That's not a problem. We changed the signature.
No problem.
So everything else is fine,
Sure.
figures were fine, and they were ready to go. New cruiser, that's been a interesting topic here lately, still waiting, still no idea when we're gonna get it. The 2023s are ordered. I guess something I'd like to try and get ahead of, but we carried over last year's cruiser money. So when the car came in, we have no budgeted for this year. If something happened like it did in 2019, and it was all saying we have broken cars here, we have the money. I want to be able to just say, yeah, we want that other car, so we don't wait. I spoke to Dana. For sure, under there, they've been approved, and I guess just need your blessing to spend it if it.
Yeah, I think we've already appropriated the funds, if I'm not mistaken. And we don't have the police report in here, right?
It wasn't
Okay.
in the shared drive. So
Okay.
I didn't have access to it.
Okay, sounds good. Either way, we're following along. Yeah,
Okay.
you got to the end.
Yeah.
It's like they put them all the way in the back.
So any questions on that one, or am I good?
No, I don't have questions, but I can clarify. Did you have other items you want to cover? Anything else? Are you good?
Just on the UTV goes in for maintenance, and then I know there was a question a while back about, we had a couple cruisers that were banged up at an incident. We've tried a couple times to get that in, and every time it comes time to take those cars to get them fixed, we have another car go down for mechanical reasons and we can't send it. We put 2 transmissions in this year. We're in 2022. Kind of like, can we get these other cars in? I guess I just don't know when we're gonna get this thing, these 2 cars in, get the cosmetics part and fixed.
Right.
Um,
You want me to jump in here?
sure.
I can jump in on the cruiser part.
Yeah.
First, let me start with the SRO agreement. I'm really pleased that the schools are pursuing this. This is something I think Ryan McLean has been talking to us about since one of the first days he was in his position. And we kept on telling him, like, hey, you've got to get board approval. We have an agreement that's in flight. That's sometimes tricky to, amend contracts in the middle of a term. And credit to him and the school board for taking this and running with it. So we're going to amend this, I think, our existing agreement, and is that right? We're amending our existing agreement, and we're going to make Whiteside full-time, which is great.
I'm not saying anything nice about it because I know he's listening.
I know he's listening to. No, he's excited. The school's excited, and it's definitely the right move. It also sets us up for potentially expanding the program in the future. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, which was one of our combined requirements between us and the school board, allowing us to grow the program, which is great. On the cruisers, I met with Deputy Chief, and Finance Director Stefan, and we were discussing different finance items. One of the items that came up was about the cruisers. The supply chain issues with police cruisers is still real. We hope we'll get 1 or 2 cruisers this year. We do need them just due to capacity issues. One of the things that Chief and Deputy Chief and myself started looking at last year, and it's really probably going to start, we're going to start looking at again, is actually looking into a pickup truck that can be
ran as a patrol car. So think of like an F-150 or a Silverado 1500. You put a cab on the back. I mean, it's just as functional as a Tahoe or whatever the other ones we have, the Ford Explorers, but it has more space. It's probably a little bit more practical. You add towing capability. Those are actually available, and I think we're starting to maybe work with some dealerships on pricing and make sure we can get state bid pricing on that. And then how much it'll cost to get outfitted. I think the cost is going to be very close to what a Tahoe
I
is.
told Talk to Farm, who does our updating, and they're like really comparable, maybe even a little cheaper than your cheese for the outfitting. They also have a plan that they're working on, that I'm waiting on some figures where they actually, instead of we go buy a vehicle and then we take it to them and do the upfitting, we pay all the separate stuff. They have a plan going now where they'll actually get you the vehicle for state bid price. They take it to their lot, they upfit it, and you pay them just one check and stuff. So they're getting me some pricing on that. I just haven't got it yet.
Okay, great. Any questions on that or any concerns with the approach? I mean, aside from the fact we can't get the vehicles that we're supposed to get, any questions or concerns? All right, that's all I had.
The stats are the same as what was last week's meetings, but last meeting, so. I don't have any January stats yet since only 18 days in.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Chief.
That's easy.
Yes, sir. We're on to the administrator report. Administrator Piles.
Thank you, Mayor. I will be as brief as I can. Alex is working and he came back this morning, which is always great for that first day. And seems he's picking up things. I think he's going to be good. The gutter has rock in it now, so it's safe from feet and bicycles getting into.
Talking about there.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
The demolition bid for the two buildings is out and timed out to come back in the council, hopefully with competitive bids in mid-February. You got a little detail in the streets and wastewater, a little bit about the last frozen precipitation event. Mentioned a few of the things that the maintenance they're doing in-house. And let's see, and I also provided kind of an end of the year new building construction permits, the graphs that I provide to the Planning and Zoning Commission so you could see where we finished. And we're already off to a strong start this year. And we actually have occupancies in Rolling Hills. So much to Brad's consternation, I had to tell him that add that to the plowing list because they are getting occupied. The only other thing that I wanted to mention is a traffic alert. Tomorrow at 11, we have to take the controller down at Miller and Cherry. It will be on 4-way flash while we do some work, or MP Dory does some work for us. Police department has kindly agreed to have an officer there to assist in moving traffic through that area. And that will get all of our control boxes ready and loaded with the new timing data. And then we'll turn that beast loose. We'll see how it goes and we'll make some fine tunes if we have to. And
Is that what happened at State Route 3 in Miller last Friday? I saw an MP Dory truck out there. I know the police were getting calls about a light being offline. It was the one by UDF.
yeah,
So
that would
are
be.
they're doing them over a period of days individually? Okay, makes sense.
Well, that one may have just been as they were programmed, they had to maybe take it down for a little bit while they're programming it. Minutes. This will be a little bit longer because we've got a couple components in the box that need to be replaced.
Okay.
Is that why right now, when you're sitting at that intersection, the left turn lanes will both come on, even if there are no cars in the left turn lane? And you sit there.
Which one are you talking about? The UDF light?
At Cherry Street and then Miller Drive.
Yeah, because that's happening at Kittner too, right now. I was wondering the same thing. Cars are not in the turn lanes and the turn signals.
Right. And they're supposed to be censored
Yeah, they are.
when there's cars there.
That's why we need to kind of turn the programming loose and see how it goes, and
Okay,
then we'll,
all right.
we'll adjust accordingly, but I'm
Right.
sure Dan's already made that note that we
Yeah,
need to look at those two timing. And we did have a citizen comment about the length of one of the turn signals at 3 and Cherry, but sometimes, you know, what somebody says is 6 seconds is really a little bit longer. They're just
Yeah.
anxious to get through it, but we know there'll be, we'll have to massage it once we get it in and get it operating. So
Thanks for the heads up. Can we post that on Facebook tomorrow?
it is.
Was today too, but I think tomorrow too.
I can do it with you tomorrow, yeah.
Appreciate
Keep up on
that.
your social media.
I have no time to look at that. Did you see it? You at work?
Yeah, I'm not on social media, so.
You would know that if you were on social media.
Right. Got anything else, Steve?
No, answer questions if you have any.
Any questions for Steve? All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Whited, you're our engineer.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mayor, members of council. My name's Dan Whited. I'm sitting in for Wes Hall today. Being a neophyte, I'm not sure what all you'd like to hear on the report, but
He usually reads it.
we just, all of it.
Verbatim.
Yeah, I'll let David do it. Yeah. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of plan reviews, a lot of building going on, or proposed building going on. So I've been doing Eagle Creek, Wes been on Kinder Crossing, and in the ravines, Don Kenny's project out there by 71. Some of the more exciting stuff, I guess, is the stormwater utility. I did a presentation to the services committee a couple weeks ago, and that's the feasibility studies coming along well. We need to have a stakeholder workshop. I haven't lined that up, but I need to talk to Steve and Daryl and some others a little bit about that, move that forward. We've been doing a good bit of work on Freedom Park, Reservoir Park, and J.R. Smith Park to refine the design concepts and just go forward with design on the Reservoir Park and doing some planning on that. And I believe our guys have been meeting with Steve and Dale at the wastewater plant every couple of weeks to go over the design, and that's proceeding well. So other than that, I'm happy to answer questions or go over anything that I've missed that you want to hear about.
Any questions on any engineering items? I did have one thing, Steve, you mentioned in Rolling Hills, we issued a couple occupancy permit. I would also ask Dan if you can follow up with Wes and then the inspector. Now that we've got folks going in, the streets are a mess over there in Price Ponds and Rolling Hills. I know Damon's probably driving through there at least once a day or every other day. They've got to do something with the erosion control, the dirt, debris in the streets. And I wanted them to check some of the, inspect the plans, especially related to sidewalk widths. I think they're supposed to be 5-foot sidewalks over there based on not my tape measure, but my feet. I think they're only about 4 foot. So I'm hoping they don't have to rip all that out and add another foot onto the sidewalk. Anything else? You drive through there every day, I'm sure.
No, but I was actually stopped by a sheriff's deputy the other day. It's nice that they're keeping an eye on Rolling Hills right now.
Inside the neighborhood or on
Yeah,
golf
in
course?
the neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cross jurisdictional. There you go.
Call somebody on that.
All right, good deal. Nothing to bring up. Forever hold your peace.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're on to resolutions. We're down to first readings, resolution number 2023.02. A resolution authorizing the execution of a working agreement with the Delaware Soil and Water Conservation District. First reading. Good. Yeah, we are on the
Well, we
ordinances.
just have, I don't know about timing on that. Because of it's a resolution and we don't need the emergencies anymore on there. There's the emergency doesn't jump out at you as far as needing to get on it. But I do think we have suspension of the rules built in. And let Steve or Daryl speak to the agreement if.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, it's not urgent that it be approved this evening. It is basically for the year, for the calendar year, so to the extent we can take it up at the next meeting, I think that would be helpful. This is an agreement that we've entered into with the Soil and Water Conservation District since 2018, so each year we've done this agreement. It's a working agreement, basically helps us maintain our stormwater permit compliance at the state level. And most of the work that the Soil and Water Conservation District does for us is outreach and education related. So they've done some other projects in the past, like they did help some mapping of our stormwater system, and they've also done some markings at the storm inlets, just to alert people, so don't put things down the drain. So they've done that in the past. We don't need them necessarily to do that in this agreement. So, okay.
Do we need to, so next meeting is what I heard.
Yeah, I said that, yeah, so it costs us $1 for every resident in the community. The estimated population for Sudbury this year is just a little over 7,000 or 7,000 people.
Everybody I've talked to said that's well worth the money for what we get on the MS4 certification.
Yeah, and Dan has referenced that as part of the solar utility system project as well. So it's kind of embedded within that. Correct.
We'll give it another reading in case anybody hasn't had a chance to read through the resolution. Third reading, ordinance number 2022.50 tabled. An ordinance approving the commercial and industrial site plan and building application of Cutler Properties Limited construction of storage buildings to be located at 601 West Cherry Street. And I believe this is still going to remain tabled. We're on to second readings and ordinance approving the application of Randy Lobig on behalf of Highland Real Estate to rezone approximately 39.9 plus or minus acres of property owned by Kirks Creek Investment LLC, located south of US 36, State Route 37, and north of Cheshire Road, from R2 Low Density Residential District and R4 Multifamily District to Planned Residence District pursuant to the City of Sunbury zoning code. And we do have packets this evening. Did everybody receive fire? Okay. And you've read through them all. Do you have any questions for Mr. Smith or Mr. Lobig? Any comments? I wanted to say thank you. I saw the traffic calming measures on all the different visuals. Very much appreciated. The curb bump outs, the on-street parking. Thank you. Any comments or concerns?
One comment, it's been through zoning. There were comments from the engineer coming out of zoning. Some of those I think are ripe for a development agreement. I got back, I was out last week. I think Vic Whitney covered it from my office in prior hearing, but I do have that drafted. It's been circulated internally. We're going to get that to you tomorrow morning. Talks about the NCA, talks about the sewer improvements and the, that need to be made to get sewer to the property, that temporary force main. I thought there was one other major NDA. It's drafted. Going to get that to you in the morning. Feel free to have comments directly back to Wes and or to Steve Piles. I think Wes is out tomorrow, but feel free to comment with Steve on that. We'd like to get that hammered out and approved along with the rezoning itself. So we're all squared away there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And do you have anything else? Anything? Good? Nope. Let's keep it moving. All right, we're on to first readings, ordinance number 2023.03. The ordinance approving the purchase of real property located at the southern terminus of Morning Street and declaring an emergency. We don't need to take action right now.
Well, let me talk to that a little bit. So this is the salt barn. If you think about Morning Street, most of you are thinking about the old Jenny household where we make the bend on 3637 down past Certified. But Morning Street actually goes down dips off to the right there, and it's a little dead end dedicated street through the service center, automobile service center, and there's a salt barn back there. That salt barn was used by the village for many years for salt storage. The property was always owned by ODOT. I want to say 8 years ago or 10 years ago, they notified us they wanted their salt barn back. Well, now they've decided they don't want it at all. In fact, they want to sell it to us. So this is a contract to purchase that property from ODOT. It's based on an appraisal that was obtained. Purchase price is set forth in the contract. Exact amount $45,000 even is the purchase price. I'm going to let Steve fill in any blanks, but we have made revisions to the contract. There is one final revision we would like to make, and that involves doing a due diligence as far as an environmental inspection report, a phase 1 environmental. We don't have that added to the contract yet, but the approving ordinance allows us to make adjustments to the contract that aren't inconsistent with the spirit of it moving forward, as long as he approves it and I approve it and the director of finance approve it. So it could be approved tonight. We would like to move forward to this. It is going to be a nice utility for us to have another place to store salt. It's historically it was our salt barn, as people had actually thought it was ours. So this will allow us to retake ownership of that property.
So can we pass it pending final management and legal?
Yes, and that language is already in here.
Oh,
It
okay.
basically says it's authorizing the execution of the contract plus any minor changes to
Okay.
it that aren't inconsistent with the purpose of the ordinance itself. And the evidence of that is that the 3 people have to approve it. The city administrator, myself, and the director of finance. So we'd like to get them to make that final tweak. They did clean up quite a few things. We actually have a scope on the phase 1. We've decided we want to do it. We've been talking with council. We discussed it with them verbally. But we'd like to get it in contract.
And we can afford it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to suspend the rules.
If only all the property we were purchasing were $45,000.
Yeah.
Second. Motion by Councilman Martin, second by Councilman Neff. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on the emergency.
Second. Motion by Mr. Martin, second by Mr. Neff. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on ordinance number 2023.03.
Second. Motion by Councilman Martin, second by Councilman Neff. I haven't eaten very much today. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, we're gonna do these other ordinances here. Let's see, we got Crack Pro and a Pipe Hunter. All right, ordinance number 2023.04, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a Crack Pro 125 DA crack sealing machine outfitted with attachments and further authorizing the execution of all documents declaring an emergency. Steve, what do you think?
Crack Pro, this is an investment in our street maintenance that is needed. It will give us the control and ability to do it probably more frequently. It hasn't been done in a while. Every dollar you invest in keeping your streets healthy is a few dollars that you avoid when you have to rebuild them too early. And it's on a ODOT state purchase process. And we'd like to proceed if at all possible because of, well, we talked about delivery times on large pieces of equipment. So we'd like to have delivery so that spring will arrive and we will be able to start to use that piece of equipment.
Talked a lot about, go ahead.
Give us a ballpark on the dollar amount.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've talked a lot about
Should be
this
in
in,
there.
in our services meeting. It's in the $75,000 range, but we can get you the exact.
74,136 and 42 cents.
Thank you.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules, Mr. Capel. Second, Mr.
Yeah.
Grumney.
Yes.
Discussion, roll call. It's easier said on.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
We're gonna.
Yes.
Hayes,
Motion on the emergency.
Motion on the emergency, Mr. Capel.
I'll second that.
Second. Discussion, roll call. Aye.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on ordinance number 2023.04.
Motion by Mr. Capel.
I got this. I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Grumley on 2023.04. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, we're on to ordinance number 2023.05. This is also a first reading, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a 2022 Pipe Hunter non-CDL mini combo truck and declaring an emergency.
Attached to this ordinance, I did provide you with a short memo about the truck. We did discuss it at the last services committee. One of the items was we had an option for either a new or a demo truck. We wanted to see the demo truck, ask some questions about warranties and preventative maintenance, making sure that it's brought up to factory specs before the demo was delivered. Dale did have an opportunity. It was coming back from Atlanta to up to Northeast Ohio, so they stopped in. He was able to see the truck with his employees. We were able to ask some questions that we had. Most of the system will be on about a year and 2 or 3 month warranty. It's a piece of equipment. Our current one is 18 years old.
That's on a negative 17-year warranty.
Yeah. And this one has hydro excavation, which is a capability we currently don't have. That's a very safe and non-destructive way to get soil out of the way, to find a pipe, to find a drain, or to find a valve, to clean a valve, to clean things up, to even plant street signs safely without having to worry about cutting into a gas line or any of those kind of, puncturing a gas line. It also has the advantage of it is size so that it doesn't qualify. You don't have to have a CDL to drive it. We currently have 3 CDL drivers, 1 non-driver CDL in the department, but those are CDLs are challenging to come by, and they're pretty in demand things to have right now. So it will help us have a safety net on that issue. And we the truck's getting the chassis, which is the engine and the frame. It's currently at the getting that inspected and brought up to spec, and then it'll go back to MTech, who will do the rest of all the attachments that are on it. And we would like to recommend buying the demo truck. It's a savings of a little over 20%, right at 20%, $70,000. The demo has 6,000 miles on it, which for a diesel truck is like the break-in period, and 200 hours on it, which for a diesel powered truck is about the break-in period. You know, it's just starting to get loose and ready to go to work. So we're confident that it's been used appropriately and lightly at this point in time. So.
Trust Dale, he told me he's very prudent with his finances. He told us he needed this, uses it multiple times per week, and usually in the situations where they're some of the most dire, if you can imagine, working in the wastewater treatment plant area and things are not good, this truck is the fix. We had a situation where we had to bring one in when ours was down. I just got the bill for it. I mean, it's like $1,000 an hour or something. I mean, it's crazy the amount of money it costs to bring these in. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. It's a really big price tag. The 7-year life expectancy. Right now, we're on plus 11. We got an 18-year-old truck, but we're ready to do this for you. Okay.
It seems to me like that truck, when it was purchased, I mean, we were kind of cutting edge, at least for this side of the county. We were the only ones that had that truck. And I remember that truck in my mind being $220,000 or $240,000 then, 18 years ago. So to find a truck at a $270,000 price tag 18 years later is pretty prudent work. On
Yeah,
behalf of
non-CDL.
administration.
That's asterisk. Good deal. Mhm.
The size we have now will be in the $400,000 to $500,000.
Okay. that brings no sense.
Yeah. So any questions on that?
But there is a guy waiting for a call because of everything we're going on with supply chain. It's either take it or there will be somebody else to buy it.
So
So
make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
By Councilman Martin. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
6 days.
Make a motion on the emergency.
Second.
Second by Councilman Martin. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
6 days.
All right, motion on the ordinance 2023.05.
Yeah, I'll second.
Second by Councilman Martin. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
6 days.
All right. It's yours. Go get it. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Wampler. Thanks for coming tonight too. That means a lot. Showing up here.
Good to be here. I'm gonna go make a phone call. Everybody.
We're on new and unfinished business. Let's go through the agenda items. Special event permit and block party policies.
I can speak to that.
Okay.
We're going to, we're not quite ready to move forward with this. Mr. Breen is gonna look over what we've drafted and then we'll come back in 2 weeks and hopefully we'll be ready for approval.
We have the MOU Police Big Walnut Local School District 2023 revised. I think we're ready to, we just need a motion and a vote on this, or
yes.
make a motion.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Cooper. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 days.
We're on the new and unfinished business. Mr. Neff. All right.
I just wanted to say, I sat down with Mr. Piles and Mr. Hennessy yesterday and asked them to reach out to the county engineer to see about getting some lines painted on the road on Old 3 between here and Galena. Because I was driving there at night last week in the rain and you couldn't see the edge of the road. You couldn't tell for sure where it was the middle of the road. There was a car coming toward me that had its driver's side headlight burned out. And it was guesswork the whole way. So it's a county road, but it would be safer for our residents if there were lines painted on that road. So I've asked them to reach out to the county engineer to see about that.
Okay. I thought the township did the maintenance on that. They're not right.
It's not a township road, it's a county road.
I believe you. I think the township has been doing the maintenance on, like they just maintained it this past year.
Unless they had a trade
Trade or some sort.
of some sort.
Okay.
It is classified as a county road.
Yeah, it's definitely a chip seal job.
And it really does need lines painted on
Okay.
it, so.
Good deal.
Carol mentioned to me earlier today that he'd gotten an acknowledgement from the county engineer that they'll get it on their work schedule for this season once
Thank you.
things warm up, so.
Thank you, sir.
Anything?
I just wanted to say congratulations to Officer Whiteside. And also, I was trying to look for something fun to look forward to because this is kind of a dark and damp time of year. So I came up with the Big Walnut Schools spring play will be in March 16th, 17th, and 18th. And they're doing Matilda this year, which I think is going to be pretty cool because I think they'll really draw a lot of the younger kids in with that one. So looking forward to that. That's it.
All right.
Nothing here.
All right, I had two things. One, we talked briefly about a retreat for council. Every time I think of this, I don't know who to call because I can't call all of you. So sometimes I just think and I sit still. But I think it would be a good idea. I think it will help narrow our focus. Nobody said every annual retreat has to happen in January, so maybe we can pick like May or June and somewhere tropical. Just kidding.
Second that.
But somewhere where we can all get together and really with laser focus point in the direction we're headed. So give it some thought. Typically would be like a Saturday morning for 3 to 4 hours and we figure out what we're going to do.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Second thing I wanted
It
to,
will include food, right?
yes, food.
Okay.
Food. I wanted to thank Murray Neff. He had reached out to me and Tim and invited us to the BIA annual event. The keynote speaker was and this was yesterday morning, right? Been a long week. Wow. It was a long meeting. They vote their board members and presidents and stuff like that. But the keynote speaker was Lydia Mihalik, former mayor of Findlay, Ohio. She's also going to be speaking at the Delaware Regional Planning Initiative that we're part of next Monday. Had a lot of great information on just how things are perceived related to Intel, what's actually going on behind the scenes, the public dollars that are available for both wastewater, water, roads. Think of her as like the economic development arm of the governor. And I felt like her presentation was really well received from that group. And I really do trust kind of the state at this point in terms of the direction and how they're focusing dollars and energy. So it was very encouraging to hear her speak. That's it. Thanks again for the invite. I did pay my own way. And the funniest thing, Tim and I show up and our name badges say, Joe St. John, Sherwin-Williams. Nobody talked to me. The whole time. So I say my name like on a handwritten piece of paper and then people say, hello. Pretty funny. With that said, I think we've got a motion to adjourn.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to, on behalf of Dale and Brad, we sincerely appreciate council and your willingness to consider large investments in the tools that we need to do our jobs. And thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for saying that, Steve. We got a motion by Mr. Martin to adjourn. Second by Mr. Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Neff.
Yeah.
Mr. Grumman,
Yes.
6 yeas, we're adjourned at 8:16.